to enter a world of true crime. From cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off into fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
Hello, everybody. Crime crew. Left to right. JT, left to right. All right. Well, JT's in the middle there. I don't know if he froze up, but you know me, Jay, Guilty of Crime. We got JT here in the middle and Marv beyond the evidence. JT with It's Poco Moonshine. I wanted everyone to introduce themselves, but I think JT may have froze.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. Technical difficulties, we're used to it.
Yeah, especially with three of us, and it's pouring outside over here today. I don't know about for you, but
It's
yeah,
raining
it's
here
pouring.
today too.
All right, so today we're talking about Elijah VUE. He's still missing, and we're going to give you guys lots and lots of updates and interviews and things that I bet you have not seen. So first thing we're going to do, I'm going to put this banner up. I'm just putting the scroll banner. I've been working on this for an hour now, trying to get us all set up, everybody. So thank you for being here, everybody. I can't even shout everybody out, but thank you all. Go subscribe to It's Poco Moonshine and Marv Beyond the Evidence if you're coming from my channel. All right. Marvelous Marvin, the fantastic Marv's going to give us the introduction today. If you don't know anything about, or just a refresher about Elijah VUE. She started me off on the Elijah VUE case. She's like the mama bear of true crime for me. She taught me almost everything that I know how to even stream. So thank you, Marv.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you greatly, and I'm forever indebted to you. So if you can give us that refresher, I love you too. All right. You want to give us that intro?
Yes. So everyone, we are still on a journey to find Elijah VUE. He went missing in Two Rivers on Tuesday, the 20th of February. He had been sent 150 miles away from home for disciplinary reasons. We'll talk about that in our update, I'm sure. This little boy was in horrific conditions, let's just say that. His mother sent him for disciplinary reasons to her boyfriend in Two Rivers. February 12th is when Katrina Bauer, his mother, leaves Elijah with Jesse Vang. And it's around a 2.5-hour drive from her home in Wisconsin Dells. So that's important to know. This isn't close proximity that they live together. February 12th through the 20th, Elijah is allegedly subjected to discipline tactics by Mr. Vang, including standing in timeouts, teaching him to pray, and threatening and doing cold water treatments on this 3-year-old child. February 14th, the photo is taken in the early hours showing Elijah laying on a bed, wearing a blindfold, and with bruising on his face. February 15th, another photo shows Elijah standing in the corner wearing just a diaper. It appears to be full, and his hands are in the praying position. February 18th, Mr. Vang tells Ms. Bauer via text messages that he will teach Elijah not to fear him, but to respect him. February 20th, Mr. Vang gets up to give Elijah breakfast, cereal without milk. The 20th of February, Elijah is told to stand at the foot of Mr. Vang's bed and pray while the man takes a nap. This was the last known sighting of Elijah. And this is according to Mr. Vang's police testimony. 10:59 a.m., the Two Rivers Police Department get a call from Mr. Vang reporting Elijah missing. Issue an appeal for help in finding Elijah with an Amber Alert. Goes out to the local community. The whole state is notified. He's described as around 3 feet tall with brown eyes and hair and is wearing gray sweatpants, a dark colored long sleeve shirt, and red and green dinosaur slip-on shoes. He may have been carrying a red and white plaid blanket.
Is that the blanket they found? That's not
Yes.
it is a blanket they found.
Yes.
Okay.
So 5 p.m., locals are asked to search outbuildings, vehicles, any other area in their property to try to find this child. The very next day, on the 21st of February, Katrina is arrested on suspicion of being party to a child neglect. 23rd, search efforts continue across Two Rivers and Elijah's hometown of Wisconsin Dells. Ms. Bauer and Mr. Vang appear in court. The 26th of February, the department confirms they're searching the local landfill. The two, Bauer and Vang, appear in court again, with the mother receiving 2 additional charges of obstruction. The details of Mr. Vang's tactics emerge in the court documents. February 27th, a week after Elijah's disappearance, police say they're still hopeful of bringing him home. The FBI announces a $15,000 reward for information. The 29th of February, Ms. Bauer asks for her bond to be changed so she can get out of jail.
Right. And we're going to definitely, everyone, you guys are going to see all this. This is all ridiculousness. In the meantime, we have you out there searching and multiple times and
Yes.
JT.
And JT, yeah. And
now you're in February. We're already in, and I'll have you keep going. I don't mean to interrupt, but I can't believe we're already in what, May? Are we in May? May 4th already. Yeah. May the 4th be with you, nerds.
So we're looking at
right.
3 months of him missing.
Yeah.
Right.
So police are searching everywhere, water drains, fields, wherever they can search. But the important thing is searches are not only happening in Two Rivers and Wisconsin Dells, it's expanded. Manitowoc, Fond du Lac, and anything and everything in between that. March 4th, search enters the 3rd week, and that is when the police released the photo of the beige 1997 Nissan Altima. They're not asking who it belongs to, but they are asking for the public's help in tracking the movements of that car. And they want to know its movements specifically on February 19th.
Yes, Davy Jones. I'm having Marv just give everyone a breakdown as you come in. I don't want anyone to miss anything because we are going to have updates. And yes, based on that, the name of the episode is, are we going to, I think that's what I called it. Or,
yeah.
Are we going to be convicting without a body? So we have lots and lots of updates. But for the people that haven't heard this in a long time, because none of us have been able to do this, we've been really busy. I want you to know where we're leading up to. So we're going to answer all those questions and hit that like on your way in, because if you want more of this content, it comes up in the algorithm when you do that. So, right. Absolutely. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just people, okay. Everyone wants to jump ahead, but the people that don't know about it, I want them to know
what it is, what the details. Yes. Right. March 7th, the 2 suspects appear in court again, with updated charges announced for Ms. Bauer. There was a statement from her mother that is read aloud. Is that on our?
Yes, it is. Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we will talk about that.
Right. I gave you the docket for today. If you look in your email, you'll see.
Okay.
We, I always, I'm weird like that. I gotta, if I don't have it down, I don't know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, so that leads us to today. I mean, I think the only thing that the last thing we left off
Well,
on
we
was
got
we
a
heard there
couple
was a
more updates that are going to go with our updates today for as far as dates that are key.
good.
So the statement from Ms. Bauer's mother's read asking for the judge not to let her daughter out of jail.
Yes.
Then we have
important.
March 18th. Police revealed they have positively identified a blanket found around 3.7 miles away from where Elijah was reported missing. They know that this is his blanket because they've tested it. And then March 21st, Jesse Vang appears in court briefly via video link, along with 2 new attorneys. And his preliminary hearing is adjourned until April 4th. And then we're going to talk about Katrina's most recent hearing also.
We're going to talk about his as well. We're going to get into all of that where we left off. I think the last time that I did a video, it was kind of about, oh, we found a blanket. And then JT said, well, we found a blanket, but they just didn't tell us that they had already found the blanket. So it wasn't really new information. There were some hearings in between, but we're going to get through all of that today. And we're going to talk about it with you all. Thank you for being here. Like, if you're new to the case, it doesn't matter. You'll get the backstory as you go. The thing is that he's still missing. And at this point, in my opinion, they're looking for a body. I said this a month ago that a 3-year-old little boy can't be out in anywhere unless somebody kidnapped him. Someone kidnapped him, then there's a little hope, but there's still a crime, right? There's still a crime that's happened. But I think we're looking for a body. And when you guys searched, what were you looking for? Just anything?
We were looking for any clues, any evidence, and a body.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I still had some hope. I still had some hope. It wasn't that, like, the first time I went out, I actually brought bottled water in case I found them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay.
It was still, in that window, that first time I went out. But the second time, no, that was with Marv, and it was super, just the conditions, it's so cold in Wisconsin, and just the one night outside for a 3-year-old is going to be life or death, in my opinion, in Wisconsin, especially that time of the year. That was February, so it's cold.
It looks like that man knew how it ended up and may have the time I'm way before statements. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means, but hello from New Orleans. All right, so everybody, I have we have a new timeline for you. So that timeline that was given is now updated, and I'm going to start with April 24th, and then I'll give you each one. Every time we do something, I'll give you a timeline when it happened, and then we'll go back a little just because there's things that we didn't catch in between then. So I want you to hear. Yeah, that's important. And what you said earlier about her mom, Katrina Bauer's mom, that's a big flat red flag there, that her own mom didn't want her to be out. Wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, she doesn't even trust her own daughter, so that's not a good sign about her character.
Especially when your own mother says that you lie and manipulate. Like, oh my goodness.
Well, there's a reason why she's in there, and they did what they did. So, we're testing stuff out here today, folks. I didn't have I think that should work. I've seen it done like this before. All right. That way we're not all like really tiny and no one knows that. Well, I'm hosting it. So, okay. It gets a little confusing. Let's start with this. And you all know Marv and JT. This is April 24th. We're at May 4th right now. This was when the grandma speaks out about Katrina Bauer.
You take him to the beach. You love going to the beach. He was just a really sweet kid.
Jody Bauer sitting at a Wisconsin Dells park bench, recalling memories with her daughter, Katrina Bauer, and her grandson, Elijah VUE, a little boy with a big smile.
And she always said Elijah was her little ray of sunshine.
Seeing her daughter as a mother, a bright light, a contrast to the dark, a cycle of drug addiction going back 20 years.
Watching your kid fall is the hardest thing in the world. You always want what's best, but you can't get it. It's their life. So that's hard.
Jody says addiction complicated their relationship. She says Katrina's life was deeply affected by the abusive father of her children, Jimmy VUE, who's in prison. Jody thought she was getting help.
Her entire life revolved around those kids. I don't know. I mean, I wish I could say that she relapsed. I don't even know that.
Nobody's seen Elijah in more than 2 months. The day an Amber Alert went out burned into Jody's memory. But what really stuck out, how her daughter reacted.
She was calm. I think the investigators had called me that night, said she was cold.
Does this sound familiar to anybody? I know you. Go ahead. Does this sound familiar with many cases? But what comes to your mind, Marv, with this?
Casey.
I mean,
Casey Anthony,
yes.
First of all.
That's the OG. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Madeline Soto's mother comes to mind right off the bat. So many of them, but those are the ones that stick out in my mind the most.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely, the reason that we're starting to understand what's going on more and more is because it's happening almost once a week or twice or 3 times a week with a new child and it's a child and then a parent that is a parent or guardian that's culpable. And so we're seeing the same things over and over, which leads us to understand, and analyze this and say, well, we just saw this before and look at how you're acting, right? So there's a lot of people talking about different cases. Evelyn Boswell, I don't know. Katrina Bauer, I think, was Simon on drugs, right?
Was another one.
Yes. Was Simon the little guy that they
found in the dump?
The dump. Yeah, I didn't know how to say that. It was the actual dump site, right? They scoured that.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And for a while it was unsolved. They weren't looking at the mother, and then they came back. That's the one, right?
Yep. And I've got an update show coming up where I'm going to give updates on a bunch of cases that I've talked about.
Oh, I can't wait.
And he's included in that.
Yeah, just if you send me your schedule or you have it up, I'll post it on my page because people are looking for those updates. And it doesn't matter if they're coming from me, you. I just don't have time for every single one. And
right.
So we can share the caseloads here. We have 3 of us. We have JT can help Marv, and we can split them all up. However, we're doing them. So, Quentin Simon. All right, let's finish this, and then we've got much more. Much more.
Whether she was detached or in denial, I don't know.
Investigators say Katrina sent Elijah to stay with her boyfriend, Jesse Vang, in Two Rivers to learn how to be a man. Vang told police when he woke up from a nap February 20th, the little boy was gone.
It was the mama bear, the anger, the instinct, the hysteria that was missing that it just hit me wrong.
When you did talk to her, is she asking, where's Elijah? Is she still wanting to know where he is?
At the time, she was still believing he just walked out the door.
It's a theory Two Rivers police told 12 News they ruled out. They also don't think the 3-year-old was abducted.
I don't think Trina knows more. Because I think she would have broke by now.
Jody says she thinks getting answers relies on her daughter receiving mental health care.
Until we get her in touch with what's real and what's not real, we're not going to know.
As Katrina and Vang remain in jail, Elijah remains missing.
Please keep looking for him because somebody's going to find something. So,
You want everyone to keep looking.
Yeah, I do. It's you can't give up.
Katrina Bauer lived in Wisconsin Dells when Elijah went missing and had been traveling back and forth between there and Two Rivers. Two Rivers police tell us they believe Elijah is in the Manitowoc County area.
And police, Kendall, rather, as police are still investigating, they're asking the public to continue searching, and they're even asking for information as well.
Right. Police say the FBI has followed up on nearly 2,000 tips and leads and sifted through.
All right, we're going to stop with that. You know what I did just notice that I had forgot to do was to speed things up. I was like, why is this so slow?
Yeah.
I never listen to it at normal speed because I'm not trying to just like watch news all day and listen to the, we're trying to get moving and get out there. So sorry about that, everybody. It's been a day so far. All right. I got another one that's really important because this is what will a plea deal, if they make a plea deal, do you think that will bring Elijah home? And we're going to answer that question. We'll play this and then we'll stop and talk about it as well. But that's a good question. There's a lot of questions today.
Tipping the scales of justice, Elijah VUE's mother, Katrina Bauer, set to be in court this morning for a hearing where she's asking to be released on bond. Bauer's been in custody for 2 months now, hasn't been able to come up with the cash to post, and she's currently being held on child neglect.
Now, this was on April 28th, folks. So we're at May 4th. So just so you have a timeline, this is not very long ago.
Charges in obstructing an investigation. Now, 3-year-old Elijah VUE disappeared back in February while in the care of his mom's boyfriend. And the child still hasn't been found this morning.
I want my grandson to be home with my family. So I want everybody to continue, don't stop, just searching for my baby Elijah.
His grandma just devastated about this. And so now with the child's mom and her boyfriend in custody, we're wondering here at Court TV if a plea deal could perhaps tip the scales of justice and get Elijah.
What do you think about that, Marv and JT? Do you think that would that make you happy? What if they did a less like Caleb Montgomery? What do you think?
If it brings him home, you know what I'm saying? That would be the only. I guess if it brings him home, but otherwise, I don't think they should for Jesse.
No.
Okay.
My thought was listening to that previous clip. The mother believes she doesn't know what happened. Otherwise, she would have broke already.
Oh.
She specifically said that in that last clip.
Interesting.
So the only person I would give a plea deal to would be Katrina. I would not give a plea deal to Jesse Vang because he is the one that put this little boy through hell. He deserves the full extent of the law.
This is the exact same thing then that we're talking with Adam and Kayla Montgomery then. So, okay. So, and maybe you're right. She knows, and they told on themselves right away that they were abusing him, that they were making him do wall sits. They were trying to make him be a man. They told on themselves. And so maybe Jesse did something with the body and Katrina knows it, but she just doesn't know where and, all the details. So that that's interesting. So if anyone knows,
case.
But no, what you said, you nailed it. That if she at least gets a deal, she can help find, bring him home or get justice, even if it's without a body. Unfortunately,
right?
Dang. Well, thank you, JPL. Bless your heart for bringing light to Elijah's case. The mother, in my opinion, is equally as culpable. He was only 3.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, JPL. She took her.
I'm going to grab my dog. I'm grabbing my dog. I'll let you talk.
Okay. She took him there. She knew exactly that he was going to be punished in an improper way. She is equally guilty as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, they both deserve the severest punishment. But if she does know where Elijah is, I can see them giving her a plea deal so that they can find this little boy and return him to the rest of the family.
Totally agree with you, Marv.
Yeah, I'm with that as long as they can get it solved. We're not happy about Kayla situation, and it will be a very similar situation. However, whatever's going to give us any semblance of justice. So,
Yes.
let's see what they say. And there's more hearings that we're going to see. I got some pretty good angles. There's different angles in court, and I think I captured some good ones. So when we get to that, it's going to be really good. We're going to be able to see the mom, and people will know, well, what she looks like, and what we think about her. All right, let's listen. Yeah, that was a good point. That's why I love having Marv. She knows all of this stuff. She deep dives for sure. All right, let's see. Let's hope.
Home. So happy to have a special guest in the studio. You're used to seeing her remotely, but we've got attorney Michelle Thomas here this hour and next hour. So welcome to Court TV, first of all. We always love talking to you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course. And, this case is something, you have so much compassion for children, as your specialty is family law, and you're used to bitter custody cases and things. And here, the irresponsibility is incredible with mother sending the little baby, to go live with Jesse Vang, the boyfriend. Michelle, now that these two are locked up and both charged, how might you leverage something with a plea deal to get information from either of them?
Julie, I think plea deals provide incentive for defendants to tell the truth. And that is what we need, because this mother knows more than what she's letting on. She sent her child, her 3-year-old, to her boyfriend to be disciplined and learn how to be a man, which is ridiculous to begin with. She knew that he had a history probably of child abuse, as I understand it, criminal history.
Yes.
And so she knows more, whether she's helped with sort of covering up what happened to the child. And so if she was able to enter a plea deal, reduce her sentence, reduce the charges against her, anything along those lines, that would incentivize her to tell the truth and tell us where this child is.
Exactly, Michelle. I really think they should do something, especially with her, right? Because the boyfriend, he seems kind of hardened and like he just doesn't care. And so he's like, I want a speedy trial. I'm going to prove the child neglect. Okay, but mom should have some compassion, right? I mean, she birthed this child. You would think if they kind of squeeze her a little bit and say, look at what you're facing on the neglect case. If you just tell.
She didn't have compassion from the beginning, though. Remember? I mean, she handed him over to that guy.
Right. Yeah. In the beginning, she may have had compassion and love for that child, but something happened in her life where she didn't take care of either one of her children.
Right. I do think they were using methamphetamines, I believe. I heard that somewhere. And again, there's never excuse when I'm saying that. I'm just bringing that to the light of people, because when people start using drugs, they don't even care about themselves anymore.
Yeah, you lose respect
for everything, even yourself. So, all right. Let's keep listening.
Tell us where he is, if you know, assuming she knows. Michelle, I think she knows a lot more than she's letting on. What do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because this is her boyfriend. This is someone she has feelings for, is romantically involved with, and loves. You would think as a mother, she would love her child more and want to help the authorities find her child. But, things...
There's Elijah VUE, everybody. I see some people not knowing in chat who he is or anything. I just remember his face. Just remember his face. And we're going to see his little face a lot throughout the show. But I want you to know who he is. And as you see updates too, or if you know someone in the area that can search, please do. That is Elijah VUE right there. And he's a baby. He's 3 years old. So, yeah, and about people crying, nobody heard Elijah crying. They might have, but you know what? People don't do anything anymore. They kind of just mind their business, right?
I can tell you from being at that apartment building, it's not the best neighborhood and area, okay? So I can totally see everybody around them just minding their own business and not saying anything.
Right. And can you tell us real quick again? It was so important for me, that detail about the place and the door. When you went, there was a big door. They say that the kid, that Jesse took a nap and the kid got out. Can you tell the audience what you thought about that?
There's no way that this little boy could have gotten out of the door for 2 reasons. One, the door to the actual apartment had 3 locks on it. The normal door lock, a deadbolt, and a chain at the top. There's no way Elijah would have been able to release the chain or the deadbolt, because he's not tall enough. And Jesse said that all 3 were locked. Secondly, the main door of the apartment building is a heavy door. It's a solid door. There's no way that this little 3-year-old was going to push that door open, in my opinion.
Right. No, I as soon as you told me that, I was like, wow, okay. Because I didn't know there was a second door. And that thing was huge and solid. So he would have had to gotten out of 2 doors.
Right.
Okay, let me stop. Someone's asking who the panelists are, and I just want to tell them real quick, and then I won't answer it a bunch of times, but this is, let me put them up and then we'll continue. Let's see, where's my the triple threat team here. I'll remove this comment. All right, so we have JT. His new crime channel is It's Polka Moonshine. And then we have Marv from Beyond the Evidence, which has had a channel for quite some time. You guys want to say hello to everybody?
Howdy, guys.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see
we
you all.
love Marv.
Like, share, subscribe, donate.
Yes, and Marv's channel, she does boots on the ground. So does JT. Both of them go out there and they search. They do a lot more than just for this case.
And we do it together sometimes.
We do?
Yeah.
That's how we met.
That is awesome. I haven't even got to meet you two. I have to sit here, but it's okay. That's important too.
You will one day. Don't worry, Jay.
I will. But I just want you to know they're amazing, amazing people, amazing creators, and we're the triple threat here, folks. So I wouldn't mess with either one of us or any one of us or all 3 of us, please, because we have quite a good community here. So let's be nice in comments too today, because all I have to do is tell Marv, and she's got my back.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, now let's get to the let's finish that video because we got so much more content today. So much more. All right.
Oh.
Yeah, go for it. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just saying let's go.
Oh, I thought you said I only heard the O part. Okay.
But people do crazy things in relationships sometimes.
Right. Most definitely. We've got a clip. Let's take a listen.
Did you also talk to him about other disciplinary tactics such as cold water?
I did.
And what did he tell you about cold water?
I asked him if the timeouts don't work, what process he would use for addressing the behavioral issues. He indicated to me that he was not sure why. However, the child did not like cold water, so he would give an ultimatum to the child that essentially asking him if he wanted cold water.
Oh my gosh, Michelle, the little baby's 3. Can you believe this?
3 years old, making a 3-year-old take a cold shower, trying to discipline him. It shocks the conscience. It's really a head scratcher. What was this mother thinking? And at 3 years old, the child probably told the mother that he was afraid and didn't want to go with this man, and yet she did it anyway. And so it's really concerning. And, where is Elijah? That is the question. And I believe that she probably knows.
You're right, Michelle. And it seems that strangers care more than mom and boyfriend. Let's listen to more about a boyfriend and what he would do. Let's take a look.
What I think kind of ties it all together here is testimony regarding text messages from February 18th, and specifically the defendant messaging Ms. Bauer that I'm going to make sure he hates me for being here. The message that he didn't fear me, he didn't respect me. He didn't respect me, now I'm making him respect me. That tells me that the reasonable inference there is that Mr. Vang is carrying out actions that are designed to instill fear in the child.
Oh my gosh. I know it boils your blood, Michelle, such an advocate for kids. You hear this, it makes you sick, doesn't it?
It does. As a family lawyer, whenever I see or hear about a child being mistreated, and here, knowing that the mother voluntarily tossed her child into that kind of environment, it is beyond comprehension. And, I'm sure that they talked about the fact.
Now, this gives you a good backstory anyway, but I really like to have, us discuss it and talk about it. And Marv knows a lot more about this case than I do. I'm sure she does. And so the introduction for everybody, but I mean, you're watching this unfold and you're seeing the mom sit there. I don't think she gives any shits about what's happening with her son. She's not pleading, have you found my son? We don't hear any of that, right? Am I right? Or is she just trying to get out?
She's just trying to get out. And I want everybody to realize, a lot of people gloss over these cold showers. JT, you've got kids. I've got kids. Jay, you have kids.
Yep.
Cold showers like that affect bodies. And when you have a very small body, those cold showers can do a lot of harm to a body. And not only that, the psychological hell that that little boy, that precious little boy went through, going through that, it's not just emotional, it's physical too. And I want to make sure everybody knows that.
Well, words, Shanda Vander Ark.
Yes.
Timothy, he was 15 years old, and those cold baths and the starving were his ultimate demise at 15, not a 3-year-old. So, yeah, that gives you a good idea. And thanks for pointing that out. All right, let's watch this.
Fact that he would make him take cold showers and engage in all these other intimidation tactics for a 3-year-old. So at that point, and first of all, she probably didn't deserve to have her child if she was going to even allow those kinds of behaviors to occur. But nonetheless, where is the child? And that is what's most concerning.
Right. You're absolutely right. We know those prosecutors for sure are listening to their jail calls. We know they're monitoring if they're saying something about it. But, you know, thinking about this, Katrina Bauer, she's going to be in court in our next hour. She's going to be there at 9:30 this morning. What's her demeanor? You know, if we get a look at the video from this, it'll be interesting to see if she looks at all worried. Like you would think if she truly doesn't know, she's going to be, somebody tell me, are you searching? She's going to want to know. Police are still doing their job while she's locked up. Yeah, look at her. There's that's Katrina Bauer, and Jesse Vang is the other one. Child neglect charges for these two for now. Hope and pray. I know you do as well, Michelle.
All right. We are hoping and we are praying, and we're going to watch these videos. We're going to see them did with the court and all that. I'll put us up while we're waiting.
If that was me and I was the mother, I would be in emotional wreck stating, go find the damn people who took my son. Where is my son? Find my son. She's stoic. She's just spacing off. It makes me
She didn't say that once. I've never seen her say that.
If I lose sight of my son, like my heart will sink. You know, like I can't imagine, especially that fear that sets in when you actually look for your child somewhere and they are lost and you're like, oh my gosh, like I can't imagine. I can't imagine. But she's not showing any of those signs, those typical signs of shock or anything. Maybe she is shocked. I don't know.
No, she hasn't shown. No, and not once has she asked, what are you doing to find my son? Where's my son? Have you seen it? Like, it's all about her getting out of jail and lowering her bond. And that's what we're going to hear now.
She wants to get out so bad. That's one thing I would like to know with her request. Okay, you would like to get out. Could you just put down one thing? Like, what's your reason? Why do you have to get out so bad? Like, we would just like to know.
Right.
Yeah. There should be an urgency, and I think she wants to. I mean, both of them just want to get out and be with each other and get. I mean, she is a drug addict as well. I'm sure she's going through her withdrawals, and I think at some point they mentioned that she could be a threat, right, to leave the country or to leave the area. Doesn't she? What's her nationality? Do you remember that, or am I thinking of a different case? I thought she had ties
in California, or he does. But
he does.
They're saying though her mom thought she could go stay with his family. That's what she's worried about.
Yes, and he's tied to. I mean, he has like drug ties and possible mafia or some kind of gang ties where they can just disappear. So yeah, he's not a good guy. She's not a good mom. And this whole thing is bad. And yeah, actually, we were talking about trafficking before with the boyfriend, right? We were saying that was a possibility as well. I almost forgot about that.
And there's actually talk about him trafficking the mother.
Yes. As a matter of fact, that's what her tie was with him, was getting her drugs from him originally. I think that's how they might have met, and he was selling her, right?
Yes.
That's why she needed a babysitter so bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's watch her get denied her bond reduction. Now this is 4 days ago, folks. So I'm trying to again keep everything as close to possible as the dates, so you guys have updates on this. A lot of things didn't move, and then all of a sudden it did. So I don't like to do updates on nothing. Sometimes people do that, just every little thing. Someone turned their head the wrong way. Yeah, I don't like doing that. All right, let's watch this, and if I can get it together. I did have to come home to film today. The internet is not working at the hotel how it should. So,
Oh,
yeah, I did. I'm home now, just in the studio. It's all right. Let's go.
In State of Wisconsin versus Katrina Bauer, F4 CF 163. Appearances by Zoom.
State appears by Jacqueline Liberty. Katrina Bauer appears by Zoom from the Manitowoc County Jail with her attorney, Ann Morrison.
Matters on the calendar for a bail motion today. Attorney Larson originally filed, let me find it here, a bail motion back on April 19th, and then there was an amended bail motion filed on the 29th. Attorney Liberty, did you have an opportunity to review both of those?
Yes, Judge, I received the original bail motion, and then late last night I received the other.
All right, Attorney Larson, go ahead.
Your Honor, Ms. Bauer is not able to post the $15,000 cash bond. She is asking that the court order a signature bond. I did note in my amended bail motion that I would like to have the address of her location sealed. I think it's important for the court to know what it is for the purposes of bail. I did leave the address to the court's judicial assistant. I also did email the proposed address to Ms. Labrie. It is a Manitowoc County address, which I think is the more important part. Judge, in the past, she's had 2 disorderly conduct misdemeanor cases and 2 CT OAR cases. In 2011, 11 CM 993 and 15 CM 648, she never missed any court. In 17 CT 236, there was a bench warrant authorized on June 21st of 2017, but on June 23rd of 2017, it was withdrawn and she did appear. In 17 CT 752, all our Allegheny cases except for 11 CM 993, which is in Winnebago. 17 CT 752, there were a number of misses. There was a bench warrant authorized on February 2nd of 2018, which was canceled on February 9th of 2018. There was a bench warrant issued May 17 of 2018.
Let me tell you, everybody, it is a little hard to understand. I sped it up, but a lot of it's just legal jargon, which is that she's talking about different laws and different things and talk about benchmarks. If this gets too long and it's just that and there's no analysis, I'll stop this and we'll go to the next one. But I wanted you to actually see it, and that all she's really done so far is look to get out of jail. That's what she's been doing, and this was the latest one. So we'll listen a little longer, and if there's nothing to see, then we're not going to watch nothing burgers on this channel. So you just know that that's what's happening. And look at her. She has no she hasn't even moved. She's like a cutout of herself.
Like a zombie.
Yeah. Yeah. So a zombie. That's the best way to say it. So, I slowed it down a little bit, and I've got it as loud as I can, guys.
It's
just
quiet
the audio.
Well,
it's the Zoom audio from their court TV. So, all right, let's see if we can hear anything of importance. If not, we'll go on to the next thing.
2018, and the signature bond was reinstated on May 23rd. Additionally, there was a warrant issued August 15, and she was in custody. The signature bond was allowed to continue on October 19th. And finally, there was a bond on November 7th with a return on November 15th. During that case, she was in a domestic violence situation and was not able at different times to leave her home. But as I stated, she did make all of her court appearances prior to that. Ms. Bauer has no significant assets. She does receive SSI and has received some assistance from her family, but she does plan on living in town. She will comply with any conditions as set forth by the court, including.
So what they're saying here, and again, we'll listen a couple more minutes. All she's saying is she's trying to get her out on a bond reduction. She's saying she'll stay in town. She's not going to do anything bad. She's only had a little bit of a criminal history. It wasn't that bad. It's her defense attorney pleading for her. Did I miss anything? Either one of you? That's pretty much what she's saying, right?
Right.
Somebody said something too in comments about her having connections to the Lao Asian Lao, which is Asian. Like I don't know if it's a gang or if it's a family or what, but I think that's what maybe people were afraid of, is that she would get out and disappear with those people, and maybe little Elijah was trafficked, and they just want to get get to him and get to the next thing or whatever. I don't know, but that's what all we're hearing here. So we'll go a little more. If there's nothing to hear, then we'll get off.
Being signing in a daily sign-in, but again, she is not capable of posting bond right now. I would indicate
Good.
that this is a Class H felony, so I don't think a signature bond is out of order under the circumstances. We are asking that the court grant our request. Those are all of the remarks that I have, Judge.
Thank you. Attorney Lori.
Judge, first of all, I know there is at least one victim representative that wants to make a statement. I don't know at what point in hearing you would like to hear from them.
After you.
Okay. The state is opposed to a signature bond in this case. This is a felony matter. It is an extremely serious case. As Attorney Larson just detailed, the defendant does have prior convictions out of Outagamie and Winnebago County. She has the one missed court appearance in 17 CT 206, and then in 17 CT 752, she's got the 4 missed court appearances, including one of them being a plea hearing on August 14th of 2018, where the warrant was authorized, and she didn't return until several months later. She has shown that she's got the inability to make court dates with those missed court appearances, as well as she has the 4 prior cases. She does not have local ties. The address that I was provided literally before the hearing is not a stable address. I won't say what it is, but it is not a stable address.
Not a stable address.
Right. She wasn't even living there. She was going back and forth, and we don't even know if she was there that day or what, right? She was supposed to have come. Can you clear that up? And you could talk during this. It's really low. So if you have something to say it, please.
The key thing is that she gave them the court an address, and the court verified that that address was not a stable address. She couldn't say why, but meaning whoever lived there was not it was not a good situation, and there was no way in hell she was going to let her go stay there.
And she wasn't. She was an hour or so. She was a good distance away from where Jesse lived at the time. She was planning on moving there, I think.
Yes.
Was that? Yeah. So she wasn't even there. He was the babysitter that was getting a 3-year-old in check. And so that's the argument that happened 4 days ago. And that's where we left off here. And we'll, as we get further, but yeah, we can, if you guys want to clarify as we go, let's do it, because they're talking low. And I know you understand it because we've seen this, or we hear this all the time, right? So
yeah,
it's like it's another language sometimes.
Just a clarification too, I've seen comments in the chat. Was he sold for drugs? No. The police have actually came out and said there is no evidence of an abduction.
Thank you.
They know that something happened in that apartment to that little boy.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yep.
Yeah, they have evidence. They have evidence that obviously they can't say, but that's the evidence is enough that they want to hold them and make sure they do not disappear. And you'll see a little bit further after this. Jesse's not talking at all. So we have a little clip of him, but he's basically just like, gang members do that, and criminals, like hard criminals, they just don't talk. They don't care. He doesn't care.
Think he did anything wrong.
Yeah, isn't that weird? He did tell on himself, which is interesting to an extent. I wonder why he told on himself that he was abusing him, because he did tell that he was abusing him. I wonder what that was about.
It's because he doesn't think he did anything. Yeah. Go ahead, JT.
No, I was just gonna say he had to put some truth in his lie, because I'm sure he was abusing him, but I don't think he just walked away. That part of his story I don't believe. So I think he sprinkled in a couple believable things, but
I wonder
But
if it was because of the text messages, though, because he knew they had the text messages back and forth, because they're talking about text messages in here too. It's just hard to understand because, legal jargon. But they
when
did have.
When you're in a gang like that and you are in that, I don't know exactly what the Hmong beliefs are and stuff, but when this man truly believes he did not do anything wrong to this little boy, that the punishments he gave him were just.
You couldn't have said it better.
When you think you haven't done anything wrong, you're gonna tell what you did.
Right, there you go. Absolutely. Versus like Shonda Vander Ark, that was like, oh, he was on a hunger strike, and she was just completely, until they saw the text messages and they knew. But I mean, we did the treadmill case yesterday, and he was justifying it. Did you hear his justification? It was just boys being boys, working out,
No, it was not.
But he's just like Jesse. Like, he didn't feel like he did anything wrong, and that wasn't his fault. Well, that's his defense anyway. All right, let's not get off topic. Sorry.
I don't think it is an appropriate placement for her to reside. She has no other contacts. My understanding is the family is primarily out of Manitowoc County. I don't feel that there is enough stability with the proposed location for this to be modified to a signature bond, especially with the seriousness of this case. I think cash is still appropriate. Furthermore, as far as the second part of the request that was filed regarding the lifting of the no contact, I received that last night. I did contact that county this morning. I was informed that that matter is still pending, that they were unaware that this request was going to be made until I called them this morning. And at this point in time, they are not in favor of it. They haven't really been in communication with her recently. So at this point, they are not supporting that request, and we would ask that that second request also be denied. And as I indicated before, Judge, I
Deny.
Exactly.
All right, I'll get to them in just a second. I was going to ask Attorney Larson about touching on the part of the motion, the amended motion that dealt with contact with a minor child. So, Attorney Larson, go ahead.
Judge, we have information that Ms. LaBrie has, but I appreciate the fact that I only filed the motion late yesterday afternoon. So what I would propose.
Oh, awful video. Sorry.
Withdraw the motion for today and refile to give the parties time to get information so that the court can make an informed decision.
Okay. And so the member of the victim's family that wishes to make a statement, and all I need you to do right now is unmute, and I'll be able to tell who it is that wants to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Unmute
people.
Unmute. So first I need you to state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Yeah, Orson Vu, ORSONVUE.
All right, go ahead and tell me what you care to, sir.
Your Honor, we are asking that the court deny any request by Katrina Bauer to reduce or modify her current bond. She's the mother of Elijah, and is the main reason for all of this that has happened. She's allowed Elijah to suffer the abuse and neglect that he went through, and seeing her baby with all bruised up, and not doing anything to help her, and instead taking a picture and then
Thank you.
is absolutely disgusting. Katrina needs to be held fully accountable for a lack of care for Elijah, and until we find out where Elijah is or what happened to Elijah, her whereabouts and availability needs to be known at all times. And there truly is a concern from everyone, especially our family, that she will be a flight risk. And we trust that the court will make the right decision and give Elijah the justice he deserves. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So a couple things. First of all, since Attorney Larson
I'm glad.
the portion of the motion dealing with.
I'm glad that there's family there for Elijah. I'm so glad there's family there, because a lot of times there isn't family at all. And right now you can see how much support and love that little boy has by them. They would have took him, So
there's a lot of people out in this world that can't have kids, that would gladly adopt these kids and give them a good home and love them unconditionally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Reese needs a sister. If anybody, hey, we just got a new puppy. We have 4 of them now. But if there's it's anybody that doesn't want to take care of their kids properly, I think almost any one of us would be happy to raise another child right now. And Reese would be happy to have a brother or a sister. So All right, let's listen to this lady get denied as she should.
I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Don't forget to mute it. Just kidding.
Contact with the minor child court for today's purposes, we won't address that. And as far as amending the bond goes, it's difficult to gauge this case on the scale with the prior kinds of cases she's had on her record. They're not the same. This would be an entirely different situation if the child in question were here. He's not. And I don't know what that means in terms of, the context of this and taking a long view of the case here. But it's a significant factor. I mean, she's charged with, party to the crime, neglect of the child, and the child is missing. She's not from here. And as far as the local address goes, whether or not the state has concerns with it, she could have what could be considered by anyone to be a solid address in this county, and it really wouldn't make that much difference in terms of the weight I give it as a factor.
Good for you, Judge.
What I consider in this case, and the other thing is this, I want to touch on this. It's difficult to attempt to manage this case and the request for bail like we would normally. Attorney Larson mentions that she'd be willing to comply with a daily check-in at the jail. The reality of the situation is that would defeat the purpose of sealing her proposed address.
Yep.
For anyone to think that she could go anywhere in this county and not be followed by someone, I don't think you're living in reality. And, at that point,
tell it.
There's no control over what might happen. And that's not.
Tell it like it is, Judge. And everybody, we have 111 in chat. Make a wish, folks. I believe in the triple digits. Let's wish for little Elijah for justice, for him to come home however he can. And I am very spiritual. I believe in all that stuff, angels, higher power, and I know JT does as well. So any chance you get, make that wish, say that prayer, and let's do that for Elijah today. So amen, folks. Yes, thank you. I that's what I love about you so much, that you're a spiritual man. Yes. Now we have 115 in chat, so hit that like button so we can get this out there, and we can do more coverage, and maybe people will reach out to us that know about this case or can talk to us about it. The more we get out there, the more information that we have. All right, let's listen to this Judge Reamher. He's very he knows what he's talking about, that's for sure.
To say that, I think she needs to be kept on bond as set for her safety. It just means I don't necessarily have control over it. I don't know, were it to set a daily check-in, if I didn't feel safe going to the jail to check in, I don't know that I would. And then I end up back here having to deal with that. And that's not a situation I want to find myself in. The reality is there's too much at stake. There are too many unanswered questions. That all goes on the scale and leads me to believe that if she were released into the county, she would pose a significant risk of not appearing for court when scheduled. I don't at this point think there's a manner in which I could reasonably and appropriately control that through the use of bond. So for those reasons, the court has denied the motion. I'll ask Attorney LaBrie to draft the order. And I guess Attorney LaBrie, for the sake of the order, if you just want to use language that denies the bail motion that was filed on April 19th, since Attorney Larson technically is withdrawing the other motion, and we may take that up at a later point. I don't want there to be any confusion as to whether the denial today is a denial of that request since it's been withdrawn. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, then let me just
denied.
Set. So the parties talk about what you're looking to have set as far as the next date. You want an additional for the proceedings deadline status.
All right, now we'll hear the next date. That way we can keep up on this. I try to keep a log of dates so that I know, and we can, come back around, because sometimes big things happen around those dates. Someone will make a deal, or something big will come out. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
Well, something big did come out.
What's
in my
that?
opinion, in my opinion, and we're gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
The sheriff's statement was huge, in my opinion.
It is, and that's why it's so important. And I'm here for the long haul today on this. I know it's going to be a longer episode when you have two guests, three people on here. You know, I want to hear your thoughts, opinions, and all that. And when I'm doing it by myself, it's more, you know, but I absolutely value every single thing that you say, both of you. So, and it seems people really do. I mean, everybody does as well. They're not telling me to shut up. So,
Well, I got a question for both of you that I'm curious about your answers. This isn't the first time she's asked for a bail reduction.
nope.
Okay. Why do you think she wants out so bad?
I think she wants to. I actually do think she wants to disappear, and um, that's all I think. I think she wants to disappear. It sounds. What about you, JT?
Either that, or she wants to try to save face, and or just get back to what she thinks is normal. I can't. I would hate to think she's that heartless. I don't know. It's hard. I'm telling you. I wish I could get in the minds of these people, but I just can't imagine what she would have to do that's important, unless she thinks it would save face to try to help look for him.
Now? I mean,
Yeah. What do you
late.
think? Yeah, what do you think?
I think she wants her next fix, and she wants to go right back to that lifestyle, and she's kid free now because Elijah's missing. They
Right.
took the daughter away, and she wants that contact with Jesse too.
Absolutely.
Because that was
Yes.
part of that motion. She wanted the contact, and they're not giving it to her.
Right. There you go. So maybe you probably nailed it, because she was okay with checking in weekly and so forth, but she can be high as a kite and do that, and she probably knows how to do those, drug tests and go around all of that. And then when she gets out of control, then she can just disappear. But I think you're absolutely right. Kid free, and she can do what she wants and be back with her abusive man. She doesn't care one bit about that kid.
No.
All right. Let's listen to the rest of this. So let's just see the upcoming date so we know. And then we're going to listen to a 2-minute hearing with the awful monster that is the one that probably did this.
Conference, whatever you're looking for here. And I'll start, I guess, with Journal 3.
Judge, there is a significant amount of discovery that we have provided to Ms. Larson. I believe it was provided to her on the hard drive last week. I don't know how long she's going to need to go through that discovery.
Attorney Larson, what are your thoughts as far as setting the next date?
So given the fact that she's in custody and we'll be unable to post, we really need to work on this as quickly as we can. I'm going to ask for a status hearing in 2 weeks.
Let me see that.
Status hearing in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say that status here. So she'd get out again, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if she tries.
All right, so they're talking about the 22nd. We're done with this one, and what I want to say is, yeah, she really just wants to get out, and absolutely does she want to get her fix. She's not saying, what would have been important and powerful for her to say is, Judge, I want to get out. I'll check in every day. I want to be out there looking for my son. I want to be with the family. She's not saying any of that. And he's saying that he's not letting her out for her protection, that people want to hurt her. Did you hear that?
Yeah. No,
yeah,
she's not saying any of that. Just want to give your listeners and all the listeners of the 3 channels a tip. I know that Jay is playing these at a faster speed. You personally can change that by going up to the wheel. Oops. Maybe not. I just clicked out of it. You can change it though on your own. And I got to go back to where it is.
Yeah, the little settings bar.
Yeah, the settings bar. That's what I couldn't think of settings bar. Go to the settings bar, change the speed yourselves, and you can hear it at normal speed.
Yeah, and we're gonna timestamp this after too. I timestamp all my videos, so you can go timestamp it and then slow it down, or you can go to the news station and watch it. But if we watched every single thing at that speed, we'd be here for like 8 hours. So, and I think me personally, I like it on the faster speed. I feel like they talk slow, but I can show them too. I'll show them on the next video. I'll just show them the little settings bar.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go to now Jesse Vang's little 2-minute thing. Nothing's happened with him because, well, he just doesn't care. He's just he'll take it all the way until he'll push it to his limits and then see what happens. And I think he thinks because there's no body, they haven't found anything and they haven't charged him with murder or anything like that. It's just like, whatever.
It's child neglect, so no big deal.
Yeah, child neglect. Hold on. I'm going to show them. I'm going to show the audience.
You got away with it.
How to do that. Yeah, because child neglect, he won't be in that long if he just gets child neglect, he'll be in and out. And he's one of those guys that's probably been in and out already and doesn't care. Not probably, I'm sure he has. All right, let me show you everybody. So I'm going to put this at full screen. If you go to your bottom right-hand corner, there's the settings. I'm changing the playback speed. I have it at 1.5. You can go to normal. You can slow it down. I'm going to go to 1.25 and see. For this one, it's only 2 minutes, so I'll play it at 1.25. All right, let's go.
In State of Wisconsin versus Jesse Vang, 24 CF 162. Appearances by Zoom.
State appears by Jacqueline Liberty.
Jesse Vang appears by video from the Manitowoc County Jail. Attorney Tim Hogan and Michael Turner appear by Zoom from our own offices, Your Honor.
Matters on the calendar for an arraignment today. I see the state has filed information as of yesterday. Attorney Hogan, did you have an opportunity to review that?
I have received that. It does mirror the charge that is in the amended criminal complaint. I have previously gone through that charge and penalties with Mr. Vang, so we waive any formal reading, reserve jurisdictional objections, and enter a not guilty plea.
Not guilty plea will be received for the record. I had an opportunity to discuss further scheduling with counsel before coming on the record. And it's my understanding that everybody can make June 28th at 3:30 work for a status conference via Zoom. That date and time works with you, Attorney Labrie?
Yes, Judge.
Attorney Hogan?
Yes, Judge, thank you.
And Attorney Turner?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Right. Anything else for the record today then, Attorney Labrie?
No, Judge, thank you.
Attorney Hogan?
No, thank you.
Attorney Turner?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Then we're adjourned. You folks can disconnect, stay safe.
Short
All
and
right,
sweet.
guys, that short
Two
and
new
sweet. That was
attorneys.
okay. I'll let you hold on. Let me pull this down. I'll let you because I wanted to say something and I want you to say something. Yeah.
Okay.
So June 28th is the next one, and then go ahead. I didn't even realize it was 2 new attorneys.
Yep. So in the timeline at the beginning, when I gave, it said that he had 2 new attorneys, and it was just his next hearing was just scheduled. That's exactly what you saw there.
Right. And he doesn't care. There hasn't been a lot that's gone on with him because he's not willing to tell what happened, what really happened. He's not talking. He's not helping them. He's doing nothing. And I think if he just sits there, he's like, oh, I'll get time served if I get child neglect and then I'll be out. So I don't even think he cares about Katrina, to be honest with you. I think he only cares about himself. He doesn't want to get out to be with her. He wants to get out to just do whatever.
He actually said that he didn't want to date her. She pursued him.
You almost made me spit. Sorry.
So you're right. He doesn't care about her one bit.
So I wonder what his motivation was in even doing that with that little boy, just like a power trip, or what was he getting out of it by babysitting this lady's son or torturing that he didn't even care about dating?
He said it. It was demanding respect. That's all
Okay.
it was.
Okay.
Power trip. He seems like a guy who likes to be in power or be a bully, or it's like the perfect fix for someone who likes to do that. To be like, yeah, sure, drop your kid off, I'll fix him.
Wasn't he getting money out of it too? Wasn't he getting, I think, food stamps? Maybe she was giving him something. There was definitely a motivation there for him. I mean, it was a power trip, but I think there was a money
Letting him
situation as well.
claim him on taxes. She was letting Jesse.
That was it. That was it. Okay. So now we have a big video coming up. Yeah, neglect is horrible. Absolutely. I'll stop for just a second and look at people's. I lost a baby and shows nothing to give me. I need a break to be on tranquilizers. Yeah, most people would control. But yeah, he was getting a tax break. I knew there was some kind of money thing going on too, because I could see if he wanted to date her, he was trying to, but he doesn't care about her at all.
No.
Yeah. Taxes. Yeah. Maybe she was giving him food stamps and money that she was getting. And he was trafficking her at one point. We do know that. So if he had the kid and she's out trafficking, she can bring him money as well. Sad. All right. This is an important interview that we're going to play next. It's with the police chief, Elijah VUE search. Yeah.
Pay attention to this one.
All right. And if it goes too fast, I'll put it at normal speed. Hold on real quick. All right. So we got the police chief here, and I think this is important.
Where does the investigation into Elijah's disappearance stand today?
Well, as of today, I can't really talk about the investigation. There is an investigation taking place, but at the same time, we continue to search. That search has really just continued to expand. We have focal areas that we believe we're searching in the right areas. We'll continue to do so. But that search right now has really focused primarily on about 15 to 20 square miles that we've thoroughly checked. Like I said, we'll continue to check that area, but it's also led to expanding on that area. As you've seen prior, we've had tips and leads that led us to a landfill, for instance. But even as recently as earlier in the week, we were out doing kayak searches. Most recently, we've been doing aerial searches with planes. So we continue to search in just about any way you can think.
Are you searching for a body?
We're searching for Elijah. I don't know how that will turn out, but we are searching for Elijah.
I mean, I have a 4.5-year-old. He's not going to have survived out there by himself for this long. You've been on record saying that you don't think this is an abduction.
Correct.
So do you think he was trafficked? Do you think he was killed or died?
We have no evidence whatsoever at this point.
Now, I want you all to know, if you are listening to this in your headphones, it's only playing on one side. Is that with you guys?
Yeah.
And I have my headphones on. It's only one side. So if you're listening and you can't hear it because you only have one headphone, either unplug the headphones or put both in. Okay, just letting you know in case I don't want you to drop off.
Yep. And what he just said is key. They have no evidence that he was abducted or trafficked.
Right. And if you notice, he avoided the question a bit about the body, if they're looking for a body, the way he went around that. And when you see the way people search, that's how you know. Like Sebastian Rogers, why would you be deep diving for hours, right? Looking in the water, doing water searches, because you can't live underwater. So,
right.
Yeah. All right. Let's listen to him. He's got a lot of important things. And I think a lot of people haven't heard this.
Again, we've had over 10,000, video files that we've looked at. We've had over 1,500 tips and leads that we've tracked down, we vetted, and we have nothing leading us to believe that he was abducted in any way, and nothing to say that he just simply walked off.
There it is.
This is a tight-knit community. You can't walk around without people knowing what's going on. A young boy such as Elijah would be reported very quickly.
So how frustrating is that for you then, that with it being such a tight-knit community, that you haven't been able to find him?
Well, you mentioned,
he talks slow and she doesn't, so I'll go 1.25.
My 14-year-old daughter, and just equating through life all the scares that you've had. that's what's frustrating. We're on day 52 now, and we still haven't found Elijah.
When, I think I asked this at the news conference, and I'll ask it again. When was the last time anybody other than Jesse Vang or Katrina Bauer?
Now we're way past day 52 at this point. This was 2 weeks ago. So take 14 more days and add that to 52 people. So
Saw Elijah VUE. I know there's those surveillance pictures from Friday. That was 4 days before he went missing.
Yeah, I can't give an exact date on that as far as the investigation, but
Have you been able to uncover images or talk to witnesses about people who have seen him
right
after those pictures?
We've talked to numerous people. So in the early days, we get questions, and you see Facebook messages and stuff, and people questioning, when I mentioned that we just did a kayak search, and they're questioning, why are we checking waterways right now? Well,
yeah, see,
we're not just now checking those waterways. We've been checking them all along. On day one,
yep.
people out on the waterways.
Says a lot.
Again, we could check until you've actually been out on, say, the West Twin River, like I was with my staff. It's just daunting when you see just how mass area that is to search. And we'll continue to do so. We know that there's been a Milwaukee case where somebody just turned up now that went missing in January, another case where somebody went missing in December, I believe out of Oshkosh. So I'll continue to search rivers too.
Now that is good to hear when that happens, because, and I don't know if he meant that the person was alive or not, but it gives you a little hope, because normally, right, they say the first 48 hours are the most important. And once the week is up in 2 weeks, most of the time you're looking for a body.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you got to realize how long these rivers are. It's not a short little river. It expands through multiple counties.
Right. Yeah, no, I know. There's a lot of search efforts and funding being spent on this. And again, if they're looking in the waters, they're looking for a body. So,
right.
Unfortunately, an 8-year-old just cannot survive. We couldn't survive out in the woods for more than a few days without anything. So, all right.
Until we find him. But yeah, we continue to search everywhere. We had neighborhood canvases where we literally went into every home, talked to everybody that lived in each home. We checked every room, every cabinet, everything in those homes. It doesn't get much more thorough than that. We had cooperation with all the community. We've done drone searches, and the software, I'm not a drone expert, but the software that they tell me can show disrupted ground. It can show decomposing body. It can show coloration differences. It picks up on those things. It tags those. And again, the data that comes out, when I say not leaving an area or a stone unturned, it really doesn't. Like, we're checking everything.
You said, you mentioned it's like 15 to 20 mile kind of area that you focus that search. I mean, it sounds like you've turned over every stone, you've checked everything.
Yeah. Well, you would like to think so, but again, you bring up the 15 to 20 square miles, and I think that looks fantastic even on a map. However, if you do some research, Manitowoc County alone is almost 1,500 square miles. So even that vast area doesn't come close to covering the county.
Well, you got to remember too that some of those areas were underwater. And JT,
right.
Since then we've had more snow and more rain, so a lot of those areas have not dried up yet.
And when you were out there too, I think JT, I don't know if you ever were able to get the waders that time, but you were searching in areas that were wet.
That was the time I went out with Marv. I thought they were going to be wet, but it was actually pretty dry. The wet area is more closer. What is that? Manitowoc. Manitowoc has a lot of swamps and stuff.
Right, Manitowoc and in the Two Rivers area there's still a lot of areas that are wet,
and a lot of marshy areas that I feel like they could check again, and not with the drone. I mean, on foot.
Right. Because those aren't that accurate. I mean, they're accurate, and technology is good, but most of the time we run across people and we find things by people searching. And there were harsh conditions. I saw you two searching in. Marv, I saw you kind of steeping down with the rocks, and and that, you're a grown woman, let alone a little boy that would have been out there. So I think that you guys were also looking for clues, but also not a kid that's going to be sitting there in the middle of the woods or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I mean, JT can tell you that anytime there was a pile of brush, trees, whatever, we were actually going up to that and moving branches off and looking at the bottom to make sure that there was no body hidden in there.
Yeah, I saw some of your searches, and those branches were brutal. Those little tiny branches you could barely even see, I could imagine. And you were holding your phone. Good for you.
In that, I mean, throughout that whole area, and JT can contest to this, you would just have these piles of sticks and tree trunks and tree branches, and then actual tree branches with a lot of the greenery on them still, the leaves and everything. So, and that's all piled on top of each other, and is a perfect place to hide somebody. Because who's really going to go and pick those all up and look at the bottom? Well, we did.
Right.
Yeah, we did.
And you found at some point there was bones of like animals and stuff like that.
Yes.
Which is scary, because when you get to that and you see the bones, you're like, oh, and
it makes your heart speed up until you realize that it was a deer.
Right. Yeah. I can't even imagine. I don't live near anything like that. So, all right, let's listen to what he has to say. I know it's important.
And seeing what a daunting
I'll turn it back up.
It's no different when you look at all the forest and swampland and everything else.
There you go.
Why focus
Exactly.
on a specific area? I mean, have tips and leads have led you to that area?
Yeah. Well, we've had tips and leads, and then also, again, knowing that we have no knowledge that this child simply walked off and that it wasn't an abduction. We follow all the tips and leads that we have had, and then along with any video evidence that we've had, it leads us to believe that we're in the right area, especially when you match that
February
with research of missing and endangered children.
How quickly into the investigation did you realize that there wasn't an abduction and that it was something else?
Listen up, folks. This is important.
I'm not certain on that. The telltale time period where the whole focus changed was probably in that first half hour, because we responded for a child that simply walked off, believing that would have been in a couple minutes. A few minutes prior, we've had those kind of calls here in Two Rivers in the past, and everybody races out because, again, we have children. We've all been children. We may have siblings.
Right.
Everybody can relate to that. I myself went out in my personal vehicle looking for this child and was talking to everybody I could, stopping at businesses. Typically, that's what happens. And within minutes, it's usually a mistake. He got picked up by a different bus, or a family member, unbeknownst to somebody, picked them up. It's usually something like that, and it's reported fairly quickly, or they're simply found.
You want to speed it up? Okay.
So that's what we were hoping. And in this case, two things happen when that's reported. You're out searching and somebody's investigating. Soon into that, we learned that it was several hours prior that he may have walked off. So that changed the whole focus at that.
Yeah, this guy talks really slow. He's thorough, but then the other lady talks fast. So I'll speed it up for you. I'm with you. Marv, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I just want everybody to know that the road that this apartment building is on is the main road that goes through the town. There's traffic on it all the time. If that little boy had gone out on his own, somebody would have realized that a 3-year-old was out in the middle of the night or the very early morning and stopped and picked him up and taken him to the police station.
I also think that he realized that, well, when he said he went out and looked for him himself, he would have found him. He also probably heard the story by then about, she left the kid and he was doing this and squatting against the wall, and he realized, he didn't just walk off. And he may have seen the door. Once you showed me the door, the door and then the double door, there was no way that little boy walked off. Sorry, the hiccups. Okay.
And for those of J and JT's channels, I do have a playlist for Elijah. I do show the videos that I took on my searches. So if
Thank
you're
you.
interested in seeing that, please check out Beyond the Evidence and go to that playlist. I will, after this live, I will make sure that all of those videos are in the playlist bucket.
And I'll share the playlist in the community, because that to me it is a big key to this case. When you see it, it makes you understand a lot better what's going on and what's really going on here. And thank you, Diane Miglior. I appreciate any help and all help, and only if you can, please do. But what helps the most, is the hitting the like button, commenting on the video, so that it can get out there and more people can see it and be aware. Because I feel like I don't understand why some cases get more coverage than others, right? I mean, Sebastian is slammed all over the internet, and I mean, people are just talking about anything and coming up with theories. But this little boy, I mean, this is so urgent.
Lost.
Yeah. They're all equally as important, is what I'm trying to say. And I want you all to know that.
It's tough to cover them all, right?
Yes,
it is tough. It is, but we can try to split the time as much as we can, So
that point, because now we had an endangered child out with what was reported as possibly only a blanket in very cold temperatures in winter, and 3 years old. The 3-year-old can't care for themselves. So that's when everything changed, and we contacted FBI, TCI, all our neighboring jurisdictions, police, fire, paramedics, DNR, National Guard was out with a helicopter. Everything was all hands on deck, searching everything we could.
You mentioned the blanket. It was found about 5 days later.
Right.
What significance
Yeah,
does that play in the
they're
investigation? Is it
5
several
days.
miles away from where Elijah VUE was reported missing?
We were already searching, and I would say that was in a large search area, maybe not the primary search area, but definitely an area of interest. So when that was found, really all it did was, again, tell us that we feel we're searching in the right areas, and expanded upon the areas that we were searching.
I know another news organization captured video of that dinosaur shoe. Have you been able to confirm that was in fact
Thank
Elijah's
you, Carly.
shoe as part of the description when you guys put out that he might have these dinosaur shoes?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Right. This guy is the police chief. He's running this investigation of Two Rivers. So he is the guy that was on the search from the beginning. He was called. I mean, he's running the show, I assume, when you're the police chief of this investigation, right? He makes a lot of the decisions, and it's important what he's saying, because he's given us a lot without saying too much. I'm sure there's more that they know. And thank you, Diane, for becoming a member of the official crime crew. He does talk slow, but it's okay. He's thorough. He looks tired too. I'm sure he's been, working not just this case, but lots of others.
Okay. And then I know that Jesse Vang said that there was his teenage son. He'd gotten him on the bus that morning, and that Elijah was still sleeping at that point. You've been able to talk to that
he is.
other child, and has he been helpful and been able to tell you anything that he saw Elijah that morning? Or
Yeah, so I can't go into details on that, but I can say that everybody was spoken to.
just whether or not he saw him, that you can't.
Well, this is a juvenile, so I'm not going to get into that.
Okay. I know there's all these
There you
citizens
go.
that are out there searching. Are you working in conjunction with them? Are you giving them any sort of direction? I mean, these people, you talk to them. They just searched the Avery salvage yard earlier this week. Now some of those people think they're hopeful to still find Elijah alive.
Before he answers, I'll let you answer, Marv and JT. Are they working with the searchers?
No, absolutely not.
Now,
giving us areas that are okay, but I think the real areas of interest they keep close to the vest.
Right. Go ahead, Marv.
But he does say later on that they are working with the family in determining where to search. So they have their locations, yes, and the police are keeping that to themselves, but they are listening and coordinating with the family as to where the family should search. And it was my understanding that they weren't doing that. So I'm glad he did clear that up in this interview.
Right. And he will. I just wanted you to answer as being out, searching out there. And I think they just don't want anything to get compromised. Something could be stepped on. There could be, a detail that they have, or DNA or evidence. So we understand.
Yeah,
and
I have never seen a police officer out searching when I'm searching.
Right. And if they do, they'll say, go that way, go that way. I get it though. Amy, I have my email below. I would love to look into the Madalena Core. I can't say that last name. I'm not even going to try, but Madalena case, if you email me below, I'd love to look into that. Both parents were arrested, and the 11-year-old got off a school bus. Her parents never reported her missing, and they were both arrested. I haven't heard about that case, but I'd love to look into it and give it some attention because I haven't heard about it. Any of you heard about that?
No.
No. Yeah, that's no wonder they were arrested. I mean, all right, let's listen to this. I didn't want to sidetrack, but all missing kids are just as important. And I wish we had all hours in the day.
Right.
I mean, at some point,
Yeah.
you feel like you feel like you're being honest with them and guiding them in where they should be searching and kind of what their expectations should be?
Yeah, absolutely. I have been. As early as today, I was reaching out to DCI, who is working as the go-between with us and the family. So as early as today, I was having those conversations, and we continue to do so. So before the public actually hears anything, we're actually having those conversations with the family because, one, I think that's the most important, and they are the ones actually coordinating a lot of these public searches. So I've mentioned it before, and I'll continue to mention, if people want to assist in any way, speak with the family and work with those coordinated search efforts because they are the ones coordinating with us.
So are they searching in that 15-20 mile area that you are specifically focusing on?
They have been, and then any areas that we expand on, that's what we're talking with them and coordinating with.
Now you also put out this ask for people to share video of this vehicle. What is the connection to the vehicle to this investigation, and has anything come out of that?
Right. I can't go into any of the details of the vehicle because there is an investigation taking place.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you've been forthcoming with the public. I know you held one news conference in the past month, more than a month, I guess, and just kind of directed people to your social media page. When you have a missing child, do you think you should have been out there more, like every day talking, or?
I actually think everybody's been very appreciative, and we've got nothing but positive feedback about how transparent we've been throughout the whole search.
Has this been overwhelming for the department? I know City Council approved extra funding.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's overwhelming. It's a priority, and we really just have to react to what we've been given here. So when you talk about the expenses and that contingency that they put into our budget, it's because everybody's main focus is finding Elijah.
And are you still? I know you originally had kind of a command post set up. I'm assuming that the woman up front told me a couple of weeks ago that was no longer. Maybe it was the city council member who said that the main command post. So is the investigation scaled back? Not as many people obviously don't have assistance from other counties coming in on a daily basis, or is that still happening?
So that is still happening. It's not scaled back as much as it's been reconfigured. So especially with all the technology that we have, there isn't a necessity to have everybody in one location. In fact, it doesn't help us at all. It's more beneficial to have people working remote in a lot of these cases. A good example is it's easier for me to be working from my computer, for instance, to be reviewing videos on multiple screens than it is to be stuck on a small.
Yeah, and that shows you what he said nails it, right? And you need a team of people. And as much as I'd like to be out there, I'm not in the proximity that you two are. So it's awesome that you can go out there and do the searches. Marv, you're just like always out there doing something. You got the energy of a teenager boy, and JT, so I can help from the desk. I haven't had anything close to my area, and right now I can't just fly out there and do that. It's just not the time. But what he said is important to have a team of people. And for everybody else that's on here, you're the crime crew, and everybody in chat. If you're on the crime crew, if you're in there, you're on Beyond the Evidence or JT. It's important for you to help and email and all that, because cases are solved by nowadays. Cases have been solved by people from YouTube and social media. There's a lot of good tips out there. So remember that you can do something from your keyboard, as long as you're not doing bad things. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Keyboard warriors. All right.
Small laptop and a command post where I don't have those resources.
Have you captured any video of Elijah in the days leading up to his disappearance? Have you seen anything?
I'm not sure if we found video evidence of Elijah necessarily. There have been things that we found of interest, yes. But again, it's not something I can talk about as far as the investigation at this point.
I guess video also mean pictures, images, not just
right.
Yeah. So when I talk about videos, videos.
Now you guys can go watch this. Well, everything's time stamped here, even on this video. But just last time, I have my email drop below. And Poco, I think JT's going to set up an email. You have an email yet?
Yeah, when I pick a cool name for the new channel, I'll make that's why I haven't had an
Okay.
email yet, so I need a matching email. So if you guys got a cool name for my new channel that you think I should
Yeah.
call the channel, put it in the chat. I'd love to know.
Yeah, let's do that. You could do that and then do a poll and see what people want.
Yeah, I'd like to see
That would be really cool.
what people like.
Yeah, do a poll. We love polls. All right, let's say? Holding my baby, the door was locked, the window downstairs was shut. Somehow those teenagers got open. I missed part of this. I thought we were talking about the Elijah getting out, but okay. All right. JT looking for tip names, everybody. All right, let's keep going. And JoJo for show.
True crime channel.
Let's say that again.
I said names for a true crime channel.
Yes, cool names for JT. Look at his style. Look at his name now, and maybe help him pick something cool. All right, we could do a poll. I love polls. All right.
Alone is 10,000 plus video files that we've had. As you can imagine, with the technology today versus even say 5 years ago, with Ring doorbells, Blink cameras, things like that, you might have, in one time period, you might have hundreds of videos that you have to review. So that's just one example. But yeah, other people have different technology where it may be still frame pictures. I think everybody's seen stuff floating around. Obviously, one of those that was floating around, and yes, we had seen that too, was from Ross's Auto, for instance. That's a well-known picture that everybody's seen.
Yeah, he told me that he immediately, when he realized he was in that, reached out to you guys. Are those things still coming in, I guess?
Yeah, I will say they're not coming in like they had been. We're not getting as many tips. And that's why we continue to have conferences like we're having here today with you, is because I think he needs to stay in the forefront of everybody's minds until we find him.
Right.
Are you hopeful that you're going to find him?
I am hopeful that we're going to find him.
Do you feel like you're closer today than you were 52 days ago?
That's good to hear.
Until we find him, how can you say that? Unfortunately, that's what I wake up to every morning, is a different idea, a different thought, something that maybe we can do, something different. Like I said this morning already, I was reaching out to DCI and having conversations about an idea that the family had and how we might be able to incorporate that and where.
Where do you go from here? I mean,
you just continue to search and stay positive in
right.
Search efforts. How hard is it it's positive that you're just going to find him, but might not necessarily find him alive?
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, we have to be open to all possibilities. Clearly, some of these areas are not pleasant that we're searching. I wouldn't be happy if we found him in a sewer or a landfill, for instance. But at the same time,
yeah, it's good information.
To bring closure, we will. That we have to search those. We have to run down those tips and leads, regardless of how unpleasant they are, because we're at day 52 and we have to be open to all possibilities.
More than that now.
Main search is still here in Manitowoc County. You don't think that Elijah ever left Manitowoc County?
Well, we've obviously been searching in areas outside of Manitowoc County, so that's not necessarily correct. But yes, our primary focus has been Manitowoc County.
Do you think he's outside of Manitowoc County?
At this point, I have a strong belief the areas that we're searching are the correct areas, and we'll continue to search them.
Is there anything else you think is important that I haven't asked about?
Sorry about that.
Where is that 15 to 20 mile area that you're kind of?
I'm going to go a little bit. Let's see at the video surveillance.
Were you hopeful when you went out there that was going to help you, only to find out that the farmer doesn't actually have video?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of those cases where I'm hopeful that something would turn up and we'd have that, that clear tip or video.
He does give a lot of good information. I feel like he is working day and night, and just the energy is so low that I don't know, the hope in this one. I wonder if he knows something. Well, he does know something that we don't know, and I wonder if he really does know at this point that we're looking for a body, and he's just tired and beat down. What do you think?
Beating around the bush.
Yeah.
No, I think we're looking for a body. Unfortunately, I still, deep down in my heart of hearts, I hope he's alive and someone drops him off at a gas station one day. But otherwise than that, if that doesn't happen, we're looking for a body.
Right. Hello, Gen 13. God.
And I don't think he's ready to extinguish the family's hopes.
Right.
I think that's why he continually does that. Just in case there is a chance that this little boy is still alive.
But he also, I think Davy Jones is right. He has the experience with cases like this, and he's seeing too many cases with foul play. I mean, he just seems, so just beat down. And the answers that he gives, he goes around things a lot. And instead of him just saying, we're looking for a body, honestly, we found
Right.
some, he can't say that. So let's see where we are. Let's finish this up. I'm trying to see. Let's see if he's going to talk about who he thinks involved, and then we'll wrap this up soon. I have another clip up, and we're going to talk about what's next if we are going to prosecute the case without a body. And then we're going to play a one more video and talk about the top disturbing things in this case. So if you dropped off, come back, listen in. We had 100 and, almost 20 people here. We've got a lot of people dropped off, I noticed, on this one. And I know it's really low energy, but it's important, folks. We have to keep this in the spotlight no matter what. So we're not going to be yelling into the we don't want to hear him yelling into the camera
or something. But in essence, yeah, that's just another one of those small disappointments, I guess. But we run into that frequently, where you have a camera up and it doesn't work, for instance.
He's being cautious.
You have to investigate something that does you no good.
Do you think Jesse Vang and Katrina Bauer were both involved in Elijah's disappearance?
There you go.
I can't say that at this point.
That sucks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's just so much I can't talk about with the investigation portion of it.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Waiting. Obviously you guys are working on it to put it out publicly.
But what he did say today, in this video, is
One of the things that
important.
was online, that
It is. Yeah, we'll just pull this off. I think we'll stop sharing it, talk about our thoughts, and then we'll talk about if the finding if we're going to be able to charge without a body, right? And if you want to sum up what he talked about, we can talk about that for a second. What do you think the important takeaways? It was a long interview, and there was a few key points.
I think the most important one is they're searching anywhere and everywhere, including land and water. They're searching in a variety of different ways, not only physical boots on the ground searching, but with planes, drones, dogs, you name it.
Right.
JT, what was the takeaway you had?
Yeah, that they're putting in their effort. They've got the drones. They're in the water. I think they're trying to keep that hope alive, especially for the volunteers. And like you said, they're being careful what they say. That way, you don't want to, pop the bubble of the family, possibly, and extinguish any hope they have of finding his poor little body and getting him buried.
Well, you don't want to compromise the investigation. If they say one thing that other people don't know, number one, they could compromise it by, let's say Elijah is somewhere, someone will say, oh, they know, and then move them. Or if they have a key piece of evidence, let's say they have a footprint, right? They have a footprint, and then someone gets rid of those shoes, or whatever it may be. They don't want to compromise. And I think that's the biggest thing. But it does get frustrating for us all.
The other two things that I think were the most important is there's absolutely no evidence of an abduction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Meaning they know that whatever happened in that apartment. And the other biggest thing I think is that they are focusing within a 20-mile radius of that apartment.
That's interesting. And I wonder if that 20-mile radius came from like cell phone pings, or, what that radius is coming from, number one. And with the apartment, did they do luminol in there? Did they find some, blood? I mean, he was torturing that kid. So there had to have been some kind of something somewhere, right?
Something somewhere, you would think.
Well, in the apartment, yeah. I mean,
and he had a son in the apartment too. I would love to know what the son saw and when he saw it.
Exactly.
And I hope some of that comes out in the court, because I guarantee you they interviewed that boy and said, "Well, did you even see him on the couch that morning? When's the last time you did see Elijah VUE?" he might have been like a week ago. Like, oh, really? Because he was supposed to be in the house that morning.
Yeah.
So I'd really like to hear what Jesse Vang's son has to say.
I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, did he leave him with the son? Right? Supposedly, we had asked that before. Did they leave the little boy there? Did they leave Elijah? I just forgot his name.
Well,
Did
we
they leave
know
Elijah alone?
they did leave Elijah in the apartment at some time by himself or with Jesse's son because Jesse and Katrina went out.
Right. And we also, Jojo brought up a good point where he was seen 4 days, right? Was it 4 days before it went missing? So he may not have even went missing that day. And then they waited and said that story. They had to either get rid of him, right?
Well, and police have given us a clue on that because they specifically asked about the day before he was reported missing and where that vehicle went that they borrowed.
Right. They weren't asking about, well, refresh my memory with the car. They asked about the car. They were asking about the people that owned it, or they were
they never asked about the people that owned it. They only asked where it went, what direction it went.
Yes.
Between certain hours of the night on the 19th.
Yeah, okay. So they borrowed somebody's car, which is another interesting thing. Like, why do you borrow someone's car unless you're trying to cover your tracks or something?
Mm-hmm.
And Kristen says, I thought this was Quentin Simon. Yeah, they look kind of close when you look at their cute little faces. They definitely, and Quentin Simon's one that we talked about. I'd like to cover a full, episode on it, but there's just so many. And that one we can actually cover because we know a lot more about now. So we want justice for Quentin as well. Let's talk about now if we think they're going to file charges, because now at this point, what are they doing? I mean, it's just a hearing after hearing. I know they got another court date coming up. Jesse's, I think, and did they say one's June, one's August? So, I mean, what are they? That's just a waste of resources to me. When are the charges coming for something other than neglect? There's only so long you can hold somebody for. So what's next is the big question. All right, let's play that. And then we'll, you guys will hear the, top things, that's the big things in this case. And then we can wrap up our thoughts. Thank you for being here, Marv and JT. Absolutely. I appreciate everything. I'm glad we got Marv on here. It was kind of last minute. Thank you, Marv.
Yeah, and thank you. I see people in the chat saying I've subscribed to everybody on panel. We appreciate that.
Yes.
And we are a trio to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. When Marv says that, it's true. She's the mama bear here. So yes. And JT's the man. He's the muscle. Yeah, you see that? All right. He's the carnivore guy. All right. Let's listen to this and see what's next.
Elijah VUE missing for more than 2 months in Two Rivers. We're looking into if and when additional charges could be filed.
So far, investigators have not explicitly said they believe Elijah is dead, but a lot of people in those search efforts are consistent with the recovery. CBS 58's Adam Reif joining us live in the newsroom after talking to an expert on no-body murder cases. Adam.
Natalie Jessup, Jesse Vang and Katrina Bauer remain in custody on child neglect charges, but at some point there could be murder charges even if Elijah is never found. Today, a former homicide prosecutor explained why no-body murder cases are becoming more common to hold people accountable despite their challenges.
It is very difficult to prosecute a case without the body.
But not impossible. No-body murder cases are still rare, according to former homicide prosecutor Tad DeBias, but they are becoming more common. DeBias has tracked nearly 600 such cases and says a body provides critical information like cause of death and often when and where someone was killed.
Without having that information, it makes it incredibly difficult to sort of figure out all of those things. and therefore your pool of suspects becomes much larger.
But many prosecutors have filed murder charges even without a body, including in Wisconsin. In Brown County in 2021, James Prokopovich was convicted of killing his wife even though her body was never found. In Door County in 2022, Richard Pierce was convicted of killing his wife back in 1975.
Nowadays, what I'm finding is there is a much shortened time frame between missing, arrest, to trial, sometimes as quick as a year.
Occasionally, bodies are found after a conviction is secured, but it's often because the suspect has shared information after the fact to bargain for a lesser sentence. Tobias said that's especially painful for the family.
But by the same token, I understand why the police and the family want to get.
And it does take a while. And if this happens with a no body case, something's going to have to happen other than these hearings. It's right. It's just we're just wasting time and we're wasting resources on these people. So I love that we're getting to hear the cases in that area. Because Harmony Montgomery and Adam Montgomery, that's a different state, I believe. So state to state things change. And they didn't mention that because it's a different state, right? This is how is Two Rivers is Wisconsin?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So, and then we got the body parts in Wisconsin too.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, JT. Wow. I hope your neighborhood is safe because JT lives right around all of this stuff. Boy.
Hey,
damn. All right.
So I'm not worried.
Hey, I'm not worried for you either. I know you got it. All right, let's listen to what he says about the no body murder case, and let's hope that something moves on this and we stop having these hearings for these monsters.
Get some closure and would agree to making a deal with the devil, so to speak, so that they could get some closure.
Yep. And even if a conviction is secured, families can still go through a lifetime of pain.
Even after a conviction, if the body's never found, there's still that little bit of, unfortunately, false hope.
Mm-hmm. Questions for the Manitowoc County District Attorney were not answered this evening. Katrina Bauer returns to court next Tuesday for a motion hearing. Jesse Vang's next court date will be in June. Here in the newsroom, Adam Rife, CBS 58 News.
What was that? I'm going to pull this
Next
down.
week.
Next week?
Yep. She's got a motion hearing next week, yeah.
I wonder what's going to happen with that. I mean, like, what, I mean, she just keeps asking for them, and I wonder if it's going to be the same thing. That leads me to, I wonder if she's going to, talk at some point or change her mind. I don't know. Nothing's been new. So I hope that something changes in her mind. It would be nice if, the cops would tell her, hey, Jesse's talking to some girls. Girls are calling him in jail, piss her off. They could do that. They do that. They do. They do anything they can. It might work with her. All right. So there are people that don't know this case at all that just came on here today that I hope you all are still know that Elijah VUE is missing, but the hope isn't lost. People are still searching, and I think that JT plans to go out and search more. I'm not sure. What about you, Marv? Do you have anything planned?
I do plan on going in searching. I can't for the next couple of weekends. I've got things to do, but I'm hoping in 3 weekends I can absolutely go back down there. And I did put this in the chat so that everybody could see it. A lot of people are like, Marv, the next time you go search, let me know. I would love to search with you. So absolutely, I will let people know ahead of time the next time I'm going to go search so we could coordinate maybe a big group search.
That would be awesome. Yeah, if you let me know too, I'll post it on my community page. People, the community page works really well. I'm not huge on Facebook, but for some, Facebook. I do YouTube a lot, and people are responsive, so it's nice. Let me know, please. And Meep says delay. I agree. People delay. I feel like a lot of times when they delay, it's always the ones that are guilty. I mean, they're not trying to get out or trying to prove anything. You know, look at Koberger. But you remember when that first started, he said he was gonna, he couldn't wait to show us how he was innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in there for how long now? If you were innocent, would you really want to be sitting in there with all those delays? So, and we can talk about 20 more of those, but all right, let's talk about this though. We'll talk about seven chilling details about the case, and you guys just think about Elijah during this, and you're probably gonna get mad.
Woman accused of abusing her 3-year-old son. This nearly 1 month after Elijah VUE was last seen.
So now she's facing additional charges with much higher penalties.
Now, a grandmother turning against her own daughter as the search for her grandson trudges into its 3rd week.
I don't feel it's worth the risk to lower her bond, especially as the victim has not been found and many questions are unanswered.
And for the first time, we're hearing from Elijah's caretaker, who first reported the boy missing.
Yeah, I just got a question I want to put in a motion for bail reduction.
Plus, the Northeast Wisconsin community comes together, still searching for little Elijah.
He's become like Wisconsin's little boy, but he's also become like nationally, everybody's little boy.
Katrina Bauer and Jesse Vang both appeared in Manitowoc County Court on Thursday for what was supposed to be a preliminary hearing, but plans quickly changed when prosecutors announced new charges.
Matters on the calendar for a preliminary hearing today. I had an opportunity to talk with counsel earlier. Attorney Larson had filed previously a motion to modify bail, and then I think it was late yesterday, filed a motion to dismiss count 1. My understanding after talking with counsel is that Attorney LaBrie anticipates filing an amended complaint, and based on that, the parties are asking to adjourn the preliminary hearing 1 week.
Now, on top of her obstruction charge for allegedly lying to police about her location, Katrina Bauer's original felony charge of neglecting a child was upgraded to chronic neglect of a child. Prosecutors also added another misdemeanor charge of neglecting a child.
We have now changed count 1 to chronic neglect as party to the crime. We have also added the count 4, which involves neglect to another child who is 6 years old from February 14th. So now she's facing additional charges with much higher penalties.
All of this stems from the disappearance of 3-year-old Elijah VUE, who was last seen on Tuesday, February 20th in Two Rivers, Wisconsin. That's about 30 minutes south of Green Bay. At the time, Elijah was staying with Jesse Vang, his mother's boyfriend. According to court documents, Bauer dropped her son off with Vang, who planned to keep the boy for about a week. The purpose of the visit was simple: to teach the 3-year-old how to be a man.
And there you go. This gives you, if you missed the whole dang thing, and again, I'm going to timestamp this. I timestamp all of mine, so you could skip what you want, go to what you want. I think it's important for people that don't want to watch some of it, want to watch others. This gives you the whole shebang real quick, and it's sickening. And when you see this in a document that says how to be a man, when you see this in a court filing, it makes me sick.
Old.
At 3 years old, right? Absolutely, yeah. That's good to add that to it. But I think even nowadays, how to be a man, that's just such a that statement is how to be a good person.
Apparently, in my opinion, Jesse Vang doesn't know how to be a man as an adult either. He's going to treat a child this way.
Absolutely.
How about how to be a good person? How to do good, how to love people and all that. We forget about that. All right, let's watch this, guys, so we can all get upset and pissed off and want to go out there and do something about it.
An original criminal complaint details gruesome accusations of abuse at the hands of Vang, who referred to the discipline as timeouts, but compared them to boot camp. This included making Elijah stand up for 3 hours at a time and repeatedly chant, "I'm sorry, mommy." Vang also threatened Elijah with cold water, something he knew the boy was afraid of. It was Vang who reported Elijah missing at about 11 a.m. on February 20th. Vang told
I wonder why he's afraid of cold water.
At about 8 o'clock that morning.
Right?
Elijah was in the room when he fell asleep.
I'm afraid of it.
When Vang woke up 3 hours later. Court documents state that while Vang was sleeping, he would, quote, lock the door to the apartment at the doorknob, deadbolt, and with a security chain attached at the top of the door to keep the victim from walking out of the apartment. Both Vang and Bauer were later charged with child abuse and booked on $20,000 and $15,000.
There's the two monsters, everybody. Remember those faces. Hopefully you see them in court soon, being charged with upgraded charges. Thank you, JoJo, for show.
Well,
Yeah,
and
we
remember,
want-
Help us out.
she's she's not only charged in Elijah's case now, she's also charged with her 6-year-old daughter.
Yep.
So there wasn't just one victim. Yes, Elijah is the one that's missing and presumed deceased, but there was another 6-year-old child that went through this hell with her in her custody. May not have gone to Jesse, but was neglected by the mother.
Right. So now she has 2 charges. Yeah, you do forget that when you haven't covered a case for a while, because you have a playlist and you want to go back. So I appreciate that. Somebody said the sound quality is low. It's the highest that we can go on long crime. So I could talk really loud into my mic, but I can't control long crime. I do have an equalizer here to boost it, change the treble, bass, all that, but that's the best sound I'm getting, Janet. So if you turn up your turn your volume up, I apologize for that, and I thank you for being here.
$1,000 bonds, respectively.
Your Honor, we are asking that the court reduce the bond to one of a signature. I would note that Ms. Bauer is a resident of Wisconsin. She's a lifelong resident of Wisconsin. She has no serious record. She has 2 prior CMs of disorderly conduct and 2 CTs. She had no misses in the 2 CMs, which were in 2011 and 2015.
That was Katrina Bauer's attorney, Ann Larson. Together, they appeared at the hearing via Zoom from the Manitowoc County Jail on Thursday. You can see Bauer in the video wearing an orange jumpsuit.
Ms. Bauer did suffer a significant brain injury in 2015. I do not know if that contributed, but that would be my guess. She has some difficulty regarding dates and things of that nature. She did have a neuro assessment done. I do not yet have that, but she is receiving SSDI for that condition. As I stated, she's a resident of Wisconsin. She will not leave the state of Wisconsin. She doesn't have anywhere to go outside of Wisconsin.
Bauer's attorney suggested she was not a danger to the public and simply wants to know where her son is.
Obviously, this is a very high profile case. There's a lot of high emotion going on, but there's also high emotion going on with Ms. Bauer. She's been worried sick, not knowing where her son is.
Right away, the state pushed back on all of this, citing Bauer's past run-ins with the law.
Your Honor, the state is opposed to any modification in bail. As Attorney Larson indicated, the defendant in 2017 had multiple failures to appear for court. As far as record outside of Wisconsin, we don't have any convictions for her, but she does have contacts with law enforcement in 2014 in the state of Nevada, one in March of 2014 and one in April. Again, those weren't convictions, but it does show that she has had contacts outside of the state of Wisconsin. The state feels that the cash bond at this point is appropriate. In fact, in light of the amended complaint, I would say it may even be low.
Prosecutor Jacqueline LeBray explained
Right.
Bauer's new charges and alleged abuse against both 3-year-old Elijah and another child, age 6.
These cases obviously
There it is.
involve the care of some very young children. One of the children is around the age of 3, the other is around the age of 6. And not only were we dealing with the defendant sending the child to Two Rivers for discipline, or the boot camp as they described it, to make that child fearful of the co-actor so that when the child returns to her residence, he would behave better. There is also evidence that on February 14th, she left the 6-year-old unattended in a vehicle for approximately an hour in cold weather. The temperature around that time was around probably 27 to 30 degrees.
So there you go. So wow, so that was like do you remember that recently, that the teacher of the year award, and they left the kid in the car for hours in the heat?
I remember
This
that.
lady's doing this. Yeah, she's doing the same thing. I thought for some reason it was neglect. Did they give her neglect or abuse on this one? I didn't hear that. For leaving the kid in the car. It was. Yeah, that should be abuse.
While she had her Valentine's Day booty call.
Yeah, that was for that case, but this one, she left the kid in the car in the cold, right? Her other daughter.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah,
All
she's
for a
not a
booty call.
she's not a threat. Not a threat to society, just a threat to her children. Let her out, guys.
Yeah, right now
Wow.
she has no access to the daughter.
Yeah, none whatsoever. And well, like Kayla got out, right? But she doesn't have access to her kids, the other kids that she had, and I hope she never does.
She can appeal that.
It doesn't seem like she wants to. Did you watch the hearing of her getting out? She kind of sounded like, I don't know. I think she just wanted to tie down Adam. She wanted to have that little family with Adam, and since she doesn't really care. Anyway, we're not talking about that case. Let's listen to this one.
With the vehicle turned off. Then we have also, as part of count 1, the chronic neglect on February 16th, leaving the 3-year-old unattended for at least an hour as her and the other co-actor are traveling to locations in the city of Manitowoc, and neither one of them are seen with the child.
Lawn crime cameras were in the courtroom during the hearing and outside afterward. Those we spoke to, like Maria Wright, were shocked by these new revelations.
To know that there's another kid out there, and to think what that kid is going through, is she going through the same thing that Elijah went through? Who has this kid? So no, it was heartbreaking.
But that additional abuse allegation wasn't the only thing we learned in court. On top of that, prosecutors alleged Bauer told Vang not to cooperate with law enforcement.
It's clear that this defendant is facing some serious charges and there's grave concern. She knows she's facing potential imprisonment, which is an incentive to flee. She also was encouraging the co-actor not to cooperate with law enforcement.
Local resident Lori Hamblin, who was assisting in the search for Elijah, told our cameras she was upset.
Go ahead.
That was weird. Did you catch that? She was telling Vang not to cooperate with law enforcement.
There you go. Do we speculate that she was there around? Well, actually, we don't know. We don't know the last time.
There are rumors that she was there and that she did go with to take Elijah wherever they took him with.
Right.
There's no proof of it. So
if she's telling him that, there's a good possibility that she may have even been the demise of Elijah or been there with him. And
I don't think she was the demise of Elijah. I think he did that. But I think she may have picked the spot where he was put because she did make a comment that Elijah would never leave Shakto, which is an area only about 4 miles from the apartment building.
Okay, so she definitely knows more if she is telling him not to cooperate.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. You know, earlier the mom said, well, if she knew, she would do a plea deal and tell. No, I don't think that's the case. I think she does know more. She's just trying to play dumb.
Right, and she's doing a good job of it too. She literally just has no expression, no anything, and there's been no pleas for Elijah whatsoever. I don't know why that defense attorney where she sees that she's looking for her, or she says that, but I haven't heard anything. But remember, she's the one that sent her son to be a man to him.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, good call on that.
To learn about these new allegations, in addition to what she thinks is puzzling behavior on the part of Katrina Bauer.
Every individual cannot help but try to figure out what happened, where he is, and why they're not giving us more information. And what also struck me too was the fact that even on the 20th, through text messaging, she had told Jesse, do not talk to
There it is.
Do not say, call an attorney. As a
There
mother,
it is.
your first word should be,
There
where's
it
my
is.
son? Tell me what happened.
Right.
We need to get help.
An amended
She
criminal
knows.
complaint paints an even darker picture about Vang and Bauer's alleged abuse. Days before Elijah went missing, quote, Katrina Bauer and Jesse Vang begin discussing Katrina coming to Jesse's apartment for sex. Jesse says that Katrina cannot see victim, child one, that's Elijah, when she gets to the apartment, and that Elijah can be placed in the bathroom while they have sex. A few days later, disturbing text messages were sent between the pair. When Jesse Vang messages Katrina Bauer, I told you to trust me. I'ma make sure he hates me and being here.
Wow.
She responded, don't want him to hate you, just fear you. Jesse responds, it's okay, someone had to be the bad person. In addition to these new revelations in court, prosecutors also read a harrowing statement straight from Bauer's mother.
Rather than aligning in locating her son, she feels the need to reiterate what a good guy Jesse is and is fully defending him and his actions. By aligning with him, she could potentially have access to his extended family and ability to flee the area.
That's
Katrina
it.
routinely will blame anyone and everyone for what happens without taking responsibility for her actions. It goes without saying she is incapable of making appropriate judgments in everyday life.
In the statement, Bauer's mother explains that their relationship has been severed since 2022, saying her daughter has no ties to the community. She believes Bauer would flee if she was released. Her mother also fears her own safety should Bauer be released on bond.
I don't feel it's worth the risk to lower her bond, especially as the victim has not been found and many questions are unanswered. She does need to be held accountable for what rules out in the future, and I feel releasing her, she would be a flight risk. I have been the victim on her verbal and emotional abuse for a very long time. If the court finds any reason to reduce her bail, I would like to be assured of my peace and safety with a court-ordered no contact and GPS monitoring.
Wow.
Ultimately, a judge ruled against Bauer's hope for a bond reduction.
The behavior that's outlined in the complaint in terms of not being honest with law enforcement as far as her presence goes gives me an incredible amount of concern about whether or not she would, in fact, make herself available for future court appearances. So for those reasons, the court will deny the motion to modify bail.
Immediately after Bauer's appearance, Jesse Vang also appeared virtually from the Manitowoc County Jail. While Vang qualifies for a public defender, one hasn't been appointed yet. So it was Vang himself who questioned the judge about bond.
Yeah, I just got a question for, I want to put in a motion for bail reduction.
Yeah, what I'll have you do is this. Put in writing the reasons that you want to have your bail modified. Get that filed through the jail with the clerk of court, and we'll take it up at the next hearing on Wednesday, okay?
Okay. Who do I direct the judge to?
Me.
Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor, what's your name?
Robert D. Wayne.
Okay.
They'll help you out. They'll get it to the right spot, okay? It gets filed by your case number as opposed to finding me. So you get something in writing, just make sure you put your case number on it, and we'll talk about it next week, okay, sir?
Thank you.
Throughout all this, volunteers across Northeast Wisconsin, like Lori Hamblin, have continued the search for Elijah. They say it's understandable why the case has gained national attention.
For me, he could be my grandson. You know, he looks like the little boy next door. You know, and when you watch his videos of him playing, you can't help but think about your own children when they're little, your own grandchildren when they're playing. It just pulls at the heartstrings, right at the heart.
Both Katrina Bauer and Jesse Vang are due back in Manitowoc County Court on March 14th for their preliminary hearings. If you have any information about Elijah Vue's whereabouts, contact Manitowoc County Crime Stoppers.
There you go. Wow. All right. I did this wrong. There it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Absolute angel, everybody. I appreciate everybody for coming together today. You, JT, Marv, and doing this. All of us doing it together. I know we've all been working on this together and separately. So I think that I knew it was going to be a long one today.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of information, you know.
It's worth it though. Just a lot.
Yeah. And you know, I honestly think that they're going to give it a couple more weeks and then charges are going to be filed with the amount of time that has gone on. I think they're preparing the family for that. Because once you file that kind of charges, that takes all the hope away, you know, and I think they're trying to prepare the family for that. And then it's going to be finding him, but also getting justice.
Right. I think, I mean, we've just over and over and over, and we only did parts of what's been happening today, and all they're doing is just trying to get out And with that urgency of trying to get out, that's why my number one answer was to flee. But I mean, yeah, it could just be to, to get to their drugs, to do whatever. But I just have a feeling they have some kind of exit strategy that they want to do before getting charged with a murder,
Right. Right.
But I really, truly hope, Marv, that the police have something up their sleeve that they're working on to charge them with the murder of him. I do.
I think they have plenty of evidence. Like they said in that one clip that we played,
right?
It's easier to have a trial with a body, okay? Yes, it can be done without a body, but there's circumstantial evidence then
right
that you have to accumulate, and that's what they're doing. And they got to make sure that they have all that circumstantial evidence that will point at the two of them, and then they're going to drop charges.
Agreed. I know it takes time. The treadmill case, the guy's been he's barely on. Monday will be day 4, and that was 2021.
Right.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of people were confused about the case yesterday, and I didn't have the complete timeline because I started looking back, and before that there was another case between the two that were it was a custody case, so it got kind of confusing, and so I want to clear that up on the next one. I think I'm going to drop that, but I dropped that, and then go ahead.
And let me just say, if the trial goes through with just the neglect charges and they're sent to jail, murder charges don't have to be brought then, and they can still wait and search for Elijah and hopefully find him, and then drop murder charges.
Right.
And a lot of times they will charge them and try them on the lower conviction because you get one shot.
You're right. I wonder what the maximum penalty is right now for what they do have on them, because they really are, they're not doing a bond reduction. They know they're a flight risk, and I think that they know that. Well, I think that they know that they're looking for a body, honestly.
I want to say they could get up to 10 years and a fine.
Okay. For what they have now. And the mom's charged with another case too.
Right. But even if it's only a year and a half that they get, that gives them more time to find him and collect more evidence.
Right. Which is perfect, because it could take a year or two, or who knows, depending on their delay tactics, right?
Right.
Well, I guess let's just keep this in the spotlight. There's more. Yes, fingers crossed, prayers, everybody. There's more hearings coming up, and every time a hearing comes up, I feel like big things tend to drop. Right?
Yeah.
So let's all watch out for that. Everybody in the channel, watch out for that. I'm going to put my emails down there. It's been running down there, folks. And you can email me, and I'll send it right to Marv if you want to get to Marv or JT until I can put hers up or his. I can put Marv's up if she wants right now.
Yeah.
I think Marv, you can put it up too, but what is yours, and I'll type it in there.
So it's beyond the evidence 1 at gmail.com, but I'm having issues with it, and the amount of memory I have or whatever. So you can always send it to truecrimewithmarv@gmail.com also.
Okay. True crime with Marv at Gmail.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'd rather do that so people can get to you I put that in the chat and I'll put up in a second. Thank you, Jojo, for show. Can you play KB's mother's statement read in court?
We did.
You mean the one at the beginning? It wasn't actually in court. The one that we played at the beginning was her sitting on a bench. Yeah, let me see if I can find that real quick while you guys look at chat. Let me put true crime with Marv. Marv, you can, with your email, you can do an email dump. Are you having trouble dumping your emails like all at once? Is it taking too long? Or why are you having trouble with the amount? I'm just curious.
With the Beyond the One evidence, it said something about that my Google Drive is almost full, and I haven't put anything in my Google Drive. So after we're done here, I finally got an email that explains what's going on. So
they're just trying to upsell you to pay. Yeah. So you should be fine. You just gotta it's your emails. It's your emails in there. You have to do an email dump of the ones you don't want. So go back to your old emails and do a dump.
Okay.
They're just trying to get you to pay for it.
When I get a good channel name, I'll set mine up and I'll give it to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can just find that really quick about Katrina Bauer's mom making a statement in court. If I can't, then we will call it. It's not very long if I can find it. Let's see. Missing Katrina Bauer's mom asked the court. Yeah. What didn't we actually? Wasn't that the one that we just played?
Yeah.
No, that was
the attorney read it.
The attorney read it. The mom didn't. Yeah, I just found it, and it was the attorney. Yeah, there's no other ones. You can go back. I'll timestamp it in there for you, Jojo. We just read that. So Bree's on here. Bree's been doing the timestamping, and she's great. If you could timestamp Katrina Bauer's mom, the statement read by the attorney, that would be great. And I think on that note, everybody, we love you all. We're at almost 2.5 hours here. And I think, I think this is great. Us three working together, man. I appreciate you all.
Absolutely.
Let's keep it going.
Let's go.
Let's schedule let's go. We got things to do. Yep. All right. I'm going to play the outro. Do you guys have anything else? If not, then we're going to say bye.
Nope, just ending it like I normally do. Remember, we are the voice for the voiceless and their families, and justice matters in each and every case.
Love it.
JT, you have your saying yet?
No, but let's keep on looking for Elijah VUE, and let's bring him home and get him buried, and if not, maybe he gets dropped off at a gas station alive someday. I don't know. Whatever way coming home looks like, let's make it happen.
Exactly.
Yes, please. Keep the hope, everybody. Justice does matter. That's beyond the evidence as well. She always says justice matters, and that's absolutely correct. And you have a great afternoon. And my saying is always, are you guilty of crime? And we're out. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?